What up, y'all? Thanks for always watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button. A lot of y'all leave comments, which are dope, and I appreciate that. Just go back, double back, hit that like and subscribe so the algorithms can, send this out to everybody else that's into what we into. Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see. Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. And today I got a lyricist, I got a friend, a comrade, somebody that's been, putting it down for so long with the lyricism in the game. I would say when I was thinking of like trying to define him, I was like, I think Shabaam is one of the most consistent people I know. Like without thinking about it, being friends with people so long, sometimes you take them for granted. And this artist has been taken for granted when I think about it for what he's put down in the foundation, appearing alongside some of the greats such as Busta Rhymes, Redman, Method Man, Eminem, I believe Common. Like he's done so many different things on different projects with people, from Sound Bombing with Rawkus Records to Lyricist Lounge. And just like, when they say steel sharpens steels, this is somebody that when you're looking for that, somebody to sharpen your skills with, you go listen to him. You could hear the penmanship, the style, the flow, and most of all, he's original. There's nobody that sound like Shabaam. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man.
I never heard nobody say, yo, he sound like Shabaam. Nope, Shabaam sound like Shabaam. So welcome to the stage today, the one and only Shabaam Sahdeeq.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, brother, man.
So the word for today is maneuvering.
Maneuvering, man. Yeah.
30 years of maneuvering, man, in and out the rap game.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Word. Around obstacles, over obstacles, through obstacles.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, roller coaster ride.
Still here. And we were talking off camera, y'all, about just like how we're both still here and enjoying it and doing it. And in some regards, we're kind of like carrying the flag as far as these artists from when we came from, even the age, being able to age gracefully, rapping and making music that's still great, because some of our favorites aren't as good as they used to be. And for some reason, I seen like a lot of us in that realm from our era, I think because maybe we get better. And I think because we have a comparison. Some before us didn't have a comparison. We have a comparison of what's after us and before us.
Yeah. We like the middle. We like the middle kid. Like we right in the middle.
Yeah. So we can see the mistakes that were made. We can see, some that may have transitioned well in the game and some that have problems. We've seen people try different things and where it is. And now that we've been here so long, we're able to kind of just try different things and have fun doing it, man. So that's what we were talking about, y'all. Like this game is such a roller coaster ride. We were talking about that, and Shabaam would say we had to maneuver through so much that it's crazy, because we know that we had to also change to get into this digital world aspect of it, as opposed to having meetings when you go show up to a meeting and then the meeting gets canceled, and or people invite you somewhere and they really don't want to mess with you, or
or they don't show up and you be like, yo, what happened?
Yeah. So
I think we definitely the middle child, because we could remember no internet. And then going into the internet era. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to transition, even to this day, still getting adapted to it. So I want to talk about the record you have out, right? You have this record out right now, currently top tier, right, with General Steel, and Bam. So I wanted to talk about, it's produced by ESK, and I saw that you're gonna shoot a video for that.
His name is SK. Yeah, we shot the
Oh, it's
video actually.
SK.
I'm trying to.
Dope.
Yeah, it's SK. I just be playing around with the name a little bit. You know what I mean when I'm
Okay.
saying it in songs. But yeah, it's SK. And yeah, we shot the video already, and it's edited. I'm ready to drop it like next week.
And then is this part of a project that's coming out or like
Yeah,
a
this is
full
the
length?
second single from a project called Outside the Lines. You
Dope.
know what I mean? The first single was a joint called Cold Truth. Um, with Tone Spliff on a hook doing the cuts, and then the third single is a joint called Forged in Fire, featuring my boy Cords Cordero. You
Oh
know,
yeah, shout the chords. Yep.
yeah,
Um,
Cords my
yeah, shout
boy.
the
We
chords,
shooting a
man.
video for that too. Yep.
Well, for those that may not know you, you also appeared alongside, Quest the Mad Lad, AL, Scam, Eminem, Five Star General. Um,
Yeah, me and
so
Scam got some new stuff too. We got some new shit.
yeah, shout to Scam. I did something with Scam too. Me and Scam talk here and there, man.
Yeah, he be coming
So
to the lab when he in Georgia and shit. He be coming to my lab. Yeah.
and I'm in Florida, so that's why me and him
Yeah, you
connect
see
here
him
and there.
too, yeah, because he be in
Yeah,
Miami, he be all over Florida. Yep. Yep.
yeah, man. So it's dope to show like those that don't know you and those that do know you. For me, when I'm up here doing the research, I'm like, man, Shabam rhymes with everybody. Like,
Yo, facts. I
yo,
mean, sometimes I be running down the list and I'll be amazed at
yo,
myself. I mean, from newer guys like Sky Zoo, Torre, I
right.
mean, Shot Stimuli, uh, you name it, like new, old, middle, you know what I mean? Yeah, I did a lot of joints.
Yeah. So when I was
Pharaoh.
reading, yeah, I'm reading the names and I was like, I'm doing the research. So some of the names I seen Method Man, Redman. I'm like, hopefully some of this is all factual because I don't remember every joint you did with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
So
Red and Meth come from Simon Says Remix. Of course, it was me,
ah,
Pharaoh, Meth, Red, and Lady Luck. And
that's
Pharaoh, of course.
that's huge right there. That's a huge record, man. The Simon Says remix, man.
Yeah.
Do you ever perform that at the shows? When you do your shows, you got to do
Yeah,
your verse.
sometimes I do a snippet. Yeah, I do a snippet of it for sure. I
Yeah,
got to.
yeah.
I
And
don't do
then
it at every show, but yeah, I
okay,
do it
and then
sometimes.
along your journey as well, you had Polyrhythmatics and
For sure.
shout to DJ Spinner, rest in peace, Mr. Complex, and
Rest
Apani
in
B
peace.
Fly, who also was on the show.
And
So
Ty
along,
Phoenix on the second album when
yeah, I saw that. I saw Todd Phoenix was on the second album. What
yeah.
was that like as far as like during your journey, you're meeting and rapping with all these people that I would say we were fans of. Now they're recognizing you. Then you perform this group, Polyrhythmatics, and everything else going on. What was that time like for you to get this recognition?
I mean, it felt good. I mean, every part of the journey felt good. Even some of the downs, like later, I recognized it as growth. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, Polyrhythmatics was like a dope era for me. Even though Nervous Records was nervous, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It still was a good era. Complex was kind of like the conduit for that because I met everybody through Complex. I met Apani, I met Spinner, I met
yeah,
Pharaoh, all through Complex.
yeah. And
You
I
know what I
was
mean?
thinking about it too. Like, um, Complex is the first person I saw with the video camera out there.
That's a fact. Yeah,
I
he
yo,
was really in the film. Like he was doing like short films and you know what I
he,
mean,
yeah, he was
videos and
popping
all
up.
that.
Yep, he
Yeah.
was like always like he might call me, yo, especially back then. Call me wasn't really tech. It was no texting like that. Yo, I got this. I'm filming this. Yo, I need you to be in this. Come be in this. But that was the first person I saw really going hardcore with it. Also, Wise Guy and Gaston. So those were the two people with the cameras that were really recording and archiving a lot of that era back then.
Yeah, Wise Guy
You know?
Gaston, definitely, man. Over there at New Eurekan, they captured a lot of, important moments
Yeah.
for sure.
So let's get to it, man. the origin of your name, man, and area.
Um, my childhood nickname was Bam Bam. And of course, when I got into knowledge itself, they was like, "Oh, you can't be Bam Bam, the little caveman," you know, banging shit up. You had to come up with something a little more righteous. And Sadiq, is the Arabic. We just put it together, Shabam Sadiq. You know, Shabam, of course, has like Hebrew origins,
Hmm.
Arabic origins, and we just put it together like that.
And
You
then
know,
where you originally from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn. I'm originally from Vanderveer. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
moved out of there, uh, early teens and moved to Jersey City. So I'm like a Jersey Brooklyn hybrid. You know
Oh,
what I
I didn't
mean?
know that. I knew the Brooklyn aspect of it, but I didn't know the Jersey part.
Yeah, definitely Jersey and Brooklyn back and forth most of my life. You know what I mean? Yeah,
So, with your writing style, let me define your writing style first. One thing about your writing style to me is that it's accurate. You making sure you got a lot of wordplay in there, but it's also like you got charisma because your voice, right? And then when you're
yeah,
writing, you don't necessarily do like a direct rhyme. Like you might, instead of like let's say here beer, you might have like here interfere there. Like you add like your rhyme will have more syllables than the average person may end it with. So
yeah.
I've noticed that. I was listening, I was like, it might be silly, and you might versatility. Like you might change the direct
I try to
rhyme.
bend certain words to
Yeah,
fit. Yeah, and I
yeah.
feel like I feel like through my journey, I changed up my rhyme style a couple of times. I might
Mhm.
be more aggressive on certain things. Certain things might be more simple depending on how I'm approaching it. And certain things more syllabalistic, especially depending on who I'm on the track with. I'm like, oh, hold up. If I know you coming with that shit, I gotta, step my syllables up. you
Yeah.
know, um, it's not super punchline orientated, but I got a few punchlines in there. I stick a few
Yeah.
punchlines, you know, and then I feel like my music is more conscious and street at the same time. I just don't go overboard on the street shit.
Hmm.
I guess that's a fair assessment,
Yeah,
but I
I
let
think
other
so.
people assess it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think what you're saying, describing yourself is spot on. Listening to you, you can get the blend of you get the bravado, get the lessons, you can get the understanding of the essence of why hip hop is being done. So there's always something in there that you respect the essence of the craft. You could tell that. And then just
yeah.
having your flow. So how did you find you? Cause I know, brother, like there was a first Shabam and it was probably like this way, and then you said, oh, that's not, and then eventually, where do you I think feel like, oh, that song, oh, this is me, or record or album.
Some songs I feel like I nailed right away. Right away,
Mhm.
like Arabian Nights. I feel is like a song that I nailed right away. I was
That's
like, all right,
classic.
I want to come up with a concept. I want it to be a story, but you know, I wanted to go in this direction. I nailed that. Other songs, I might have been trying to make a little party record or just try something new, and it might not have landed right where it was, where I needed it to be, but some people like it, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like I'm still finding myself, with every album, with every song, I find out different ways and different things about myself that I want to put into it, you know? That's
How'd you
why
develop?
I
Okay,
call a
okay.
new album, outside the lines, because I feel like, when Nas said that you're all right way outside the margin,
Yeah.
that's how I feel with all my stuff. Like I'm just like I'm all over the place, and it just lands where it lands. Even with my painting, because I'm a painter too. Sometimes I don't have a definitive idea at first until I start going. you know.
Yeah, I've always felt that hearing you, um, back in the days, it was so many different radio stations we would kind of tune into and mixtapes. We would do the Stretch and Bob. You might have NYU, and then whatever underground circus we would be at, open mics and everything. But I never felt like there was a definitive style you had because you rhymed on so much stuff. You know what I'm saying? You were rapping on so
Yeah,
much stuff
definitely.
and different ways and styles. There was never to say, "Oh yeah, Shabam rhyme like this." It was never that. It was never that. So what gave you the courage to kind of just have no fear in trying things, whether back then or with this album?
I just felt like you never know what's gonna be that thing that everybody's gonna gravitate to. So you just try everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You try to tackle any kind of beat, different flows, trying to be versatile, you know?
you
Even
know, back
now,
then it
like
was
if
hard though too. Back then it was harder for us to even try to do something different because they kind of was trying to pigeonhole us in some regards.
yeah, and they still do. They be like, oh nah, you the underground, yo, the
Yeah,
backpack. You know, they try to keep us in a certain zone. So, you know, my thing was just trying to challenge myself. Any type of beat, flow, whatever, like I'm on it, you know. As I
and
got
then
older,
mhm,
certain things I try to like X out. Like I'm not doing that. Like trap beats, I'm not really into that. Even though I've done like one or two, you know what I mean,
yeah.
here and there just to challenge my pen, but it's really not me, you know. I had people try to get me on certain grime records. I was like, you know, it just, you know, now I'm just like, hold up, I'm doing this. I'm
Yeah.
doing boom bap. You know what I mean?
And then what's been your influences since, who influenced you when you were younger? And then maybe what inspires you currently?
I would say, and I said this on another show, Large Professor was a huge influence. You know what I mean? Because Breaking Atoms was one of those albums that made me want to be a rapper. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean, all those songs on there, just hanging out, looking at the front door,
yeah,
money in the bank. All those songs motivated me to want to be a rapper. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. You know, of course, all the greats like Big Daddy Kane,
yeah,
KRS One, MC Shan, uh, Melly Melon, and when they came out with the message, and you was hearing that as a kid coming from every car, you was like, oh, this is amazing. You know, all those people definitely inspired, man. Cold Crush, you know, I had older uncles that, you know, came through with those tapes and they amazed me, you know?
yeah. You got me thinking about my top favorite songs because some of them you mentioned. I'm up here like my one of if I had to do like a top, I'll do top three because of what you were saying. I would say the message for sure.
hmm
On my
Message is definitely the top.
yeah,
For sure.
the
Because I was like,
message, right?
wow. It wasn't like Sugar Hill, you know, that basic rhyme style fun. It was like a dose of that realism, that first dose of realism where you was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, that's what's going on. I see it. You know what I
And
mean?
yep. And then another one that you mentioned, which is on my top. I'm gonna do the top three I just wrote right now. But now I'm eventually write my top five probably today, just so I can always have it in the stash instead of having to kind of think about it. Looking at the front door is in my top five.
Man,
Looking at
looking
the
at the
front
front
door,
door.
brother, to this day, that's
Yeah,
one
that
of
was
my favorite.
prolific. For sure.
To
Especially
this
when
day.
you first started, you know, I was a teenager, so you know, you first started having relationships and you swirling all that thing and all that up around in your mind, like, oh yeah, like, you know, how you interact with your shorty and yeah, looking at the front door was an important song.
And
Yeah.
then I do want to ask you a question about that because what you're saying, right? When we were younger, me and you both, it's crazy. I always love the fact that we're living in two different places but loving the same music. I always think that's
Yeah.
ill. Like you're experiencing where you are vibing. I'm hearing it. I'm where I'm at. Um,
I
why
think it's
we
a
don't?
state of mind.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And Large Professor making that perfect marriage of beat and rhyme that you can't deny. It's undeniable, that
Man.
song. I think
Another
that's
one.
88 Keys' favorite song too.
Yeah, that's
I think so,
crazy.
yeah. I think that's one of his.
I remember
Um,
Watch Rogers do his thing was the first Large Professor, first time I heard
yeah,
Main Source, and I was like, wow,
yeah,
I like that too, you
yeah.
know.
Watch Rogers do his thing. I bought the. I think that was on a single. That was a single.
Okay.
um, on the back, maybe it was a single on one of the records, but I remember that being a single. I kind of was like, I don't know until I heard looking at the front door.
Yeah, until you heard the next one, like just hanging out and looking at the front door, kind of put the seal on it, like, oh man,
Yeah,
this is
to get that.
crazy. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, right? Dealing with us being fans and looking at the front door, why aren't those records of relationships played on the underground when that record is so iconic by underground DJs and artists? Why aren't relationship joints we make spun in the mix? I'm not knowing if you have the answer or not, but I just thought about that. I was thinking about that recently.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, and on my albums, I make sure I have, certain relationship joints and certain joints about different things, but as singles, sometimes they just don't catch more than just the braggadocious or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think for the same reason, a lot of conscious songs don't be
Mm,
catching right away. They feel like you preaching to them. I don't know. But back
yeah.
in the days, like X Clan was fire to me. It
Yeah.
was it
Me
was it
too.
was conscious, but it was still gangster. It was like, I
Yeah,
could pull
brother
the
Jay.
biggest ring on the vine with the gorillas.
The
You know
production
what I
was
mean?
crazy. The production
That
was
shit
crazy.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just wondering that, man. I was like, man, we might need a station where it just play the joints with the female joints we make, because those joints we put on the album, I think be fire, but I just don't see them in the mix. But I thought it was interesting. On my last one on here, number 3, I had Top Billing.
Mm.
That was very, very important
Yeah.
record, you know.
Yeah, it was because it was like one of those first records that I had memorized.
Yeah, you're right.
It was like one of them
Even
first
to this
records that I
day.
had. Yeah. It's like you couldn't forget those lyrics. It was like it was simple, but it was like it was witty. It was catchable. It was like, you know.
Yeah,
What's another record like that? Um, Anything from Nice and Smooth was like simple
man.
but catchable and memorized immediately. Lottie
Yeah.
Dottie. Lottie Dottie was another record that I had memorized right away. Like Sucker MCs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had that
Now
memorized right away.
all
Like,
of those is crazy, especially Nice and Smooth. Both of the first and the second album are like full. You play the entire album, no skips on those albums.
yeah.
So
I think
all
they
right,
they 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 show you how to be in pocket. That's the
yeah,
best way I could describe it. Milk D, they might have not been super lyrical, but they showed you how to be in pocket. That was another thing I used to love about Large Professor too. In pocket, like, oh, I need to fall like this on the beat. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
So as far as writing, paper, pen, computer, phone, or you write rhymes in your head.
All of the above.
Oh, all right.
All of the above. Sometimes, because I'm a barber, so I'll be in the shop all day. It's easy for me to jot lines in my phones and my notes. But when I'm sitting here in my lab, I definitely use paper and pen. Um, Sometimes if I don't have, I can't really write nothing in my notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just memorizing until I could get to my notes. Sometimes I use the voice thing. I might
Oh yeah,
spit a couple lines into my voice recorder because you could write it down and then forget the flow later. Like, damn, how did I flow this? Like the words are good, but you forgot how you was flowing. You know what I mean? How you was laying the flow down. So the voice recorder is good too. I use all of the above.
yeah. You know what I'll do too if I'm driving. with my wife, I'll be like, yo, text me this rhyme. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, yo, I say the rhyme to her and I'll be like, yo, text me. I put that. Then I just text me that because I
Mm-hmm.
can't type while I'm texting necessarily, but that's something else I be using too. Like, yo, text me this. I'm about to say the rhyme.
Yo,
But
I'm amazed by them people who say they could write the whole rhyme in their head and memorize it and then kick it. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, I've
I
been
can't do
around.
that.
Yeah, Graph does that. Um, we know Jay. I've been around another artist named Time. And A Butter. I wrote a song with A Butter one day. This is
And
back
he
in the
was
day.
just memorize that shit in his
A Butter,
head.
A Butter writes it in his head, and we was in the studio, and I just saw him just repeating the bars, repeating the bars, and I was sitting there writing. We did a joint together back then. But yeah, that was probably the first person I sat with in a session, and they were just doing that writing in their head was A Butter.
But he wrote the whole rhyme in his head.
Yeah, he don't write on
Mm,
paper. A Butter write straight in his head like that.
in his head, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I could do that for a couple bars, maybe like 4 to 8 bars, but then I gotta start writing shit down.
Yeah. I did it. I tried it in London one day. We was doing a song and I was like, I'm gonna try this. And then I did it and I was like, nah, that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I need them punctuation. I need to know when to stop. You know what I'm saying? Give that little breather. I got certain lines and shit that I write in my book. Little stars. I want to actuate that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I need to look at what I got out here as options before I commit. And I think sometimes when you write in your head, you commit pretty
yeah,
quickly, right? Like, oh,
yeah.
that rhymes with that. With me, I need to like look at all what's on the playing field and then go, okay, I'm gonna rock with that. But yeah, I've seen people do it, and if you need to memorize 1 to 2 bars, I could do that. But like for the most part,
The whole thing, nah,
nah. And
nah.
then
And
what's it like? Okay.
I think for my era, we had them big ass reels. It was hardly no punching in.
Oh yeah,
So we had to spit shit straight out. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I got it right, so I'm writing it down. You
yep.
know, I
And
seen
then
other people go in there and they do line by line. They think of one line, record it, then come back, record another line. It's different styles to this shit.
yeah, that's Hezekiah. He does that. He's one line, next line,
Think about the
recorded.
next line, lay it. Yeah,
Yeah. He told me that's Freeway does that.
yeah,
Like 1 or 2 lines. I think they say Jay does that. I seen, but Hezekiah said that's what he rocks with. And then there's actually like a little documentary, like a short film documentary on YouTube, and it's called The Punching Method. And I think Just Blaze is in there talking about that, and other people talking about the new era of what's going on. That's what the kids are doing. So that's why the content is so fast for them because there's not really that sitting down thought. It's kind of more like I went to the store and then I met her. Yo, and then she was wearing the cool blue sweater. It's like whatever the next line rhymed, it's not like really the thought process. But yeah, if you check it out, it's called The Punching Method. It's like a 5-minute joint on there, uh
yeah.
documentary.
It
But
makes sense, but I feel like sometimes you need to marinate on the rhymes because then you make small mistakes.
oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Especially with like the actual information. Like I was looking at something the other day, and as amazing as Jay-Z is, and you know what I'm saying, all the dope shit he put out, on one song he was like, like the 38, like the sun revolves around the earth. Like what? Like hold up.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's a little mistake, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because the
yeah,
sun don't revolve around
yeah.
the
The
earth.
Earth
But we knew
revolver.
what he was trying to
Yeah,
say, like the 38 revolver, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I feel like when you write stuff quick, that type of information is like, you know what I mean? You don't got time to look it up, none of that. You just doing it quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one
So
of the things I teach music production, and when I'm got the kids and they're writing rhymes, I'm like, they're like, man, I don't know what should I write about this? I'd be like, yo, man, we gotta research, y'all. Like, y'all don't want to look up nothing. Like, what's going on? They don't want to research because the instant gratification today is so fast with the phone that research is really not their thing.
But
So
yeah, but with the phone, it should be faster.
definitely. And that's what I tell them. I'm like, look, y'all, I had the encyclopedias. You know what I'm saying? I showed them the books of what it looked like. Y'all got this instantaneously can just look up stuff. And you don't want to do that part. Like, look it up. Like, what else should I write about? Look it up and see what else you could write about. So the research aspect of just the kids is kind of going downhill too. Before we had current events in school. They don't really do that, if not at all. So just the skill of research isn't really there, like how me and you take hold to it. So what about working on a song, chorus or verse first?
I always write the verses first, and I leave the choruses open, and then just vibe on the verses, and then come up with the hook. But the other way around is dope too. If you come up with a dope hook, you lay the hooks and leave the verse spaces open. I guess it depends on the concept. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. Some people, some producers come where the beat is already the concept. You know, and
Yep.
the hook is already in there, and you just got to think about the verses. Sometimes those are hard for me. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah, because I'm like, damn, all right, this hook is so fire. Like, what am I gonna come up with right here that's gonna fit with this? And sometimes I gotta sit with it a while. You know,
I'm
sometimes
trying.
it might come to me fast.
Yeah. What is it like? You putting extra pressure on yourself because the hook is there
Yeah,
already? Okay.
yeah. Putting extra pressure on yourself because the hook is so fire. You like, damn, hold up, I'm gonna match this. You know what I mean? Word. I think one producer sent me something, and it was a concept, and what the concept was about, I never been through it. It never happened to me. It's something that, what I'm saying, I never
Yeah.
been through. So I'm like, damn, I'm beating myself up. Like, how I'm gonna approach this. And I just had this, I couldn't mess with it. I had to leave it alone. Even though the beat and the hook was fire, I didn't want to not meet the level of that beat and that hook, you know? Word
Yeah. I
up.
got that. I got a question that pertains to that though too. I guess because it kind of comes later on, but I can ask it now. When you have those situations like that, how do you gauge turning this down versus the monetary value of being the artist needing money in this game too, right? Like there's the ill seesaw we got to mess with, brother. So
That's a fact.
I keep it 100 on here with this stuff because that's what I want people to know. Like the the mindset we have of sometimes we rhyme on stuff we don't want to rhyme on. Sometimes the money, just dealing at being an artist, or you feel I'm gonna do my thing on this, so I don't care if the beat like this. How how much of that plays into your decisions?
It plays a lot into my decision. You know what I mean? I struggle with that shit because sometimes I'll be like, damn. Like, especially if they send it to me like with their verse and the hook, and I'm like, damn, if I can't meet the occasion, sometimes I turn it down. I'll be like, I don't know, like I don't want to fuck this up. You know what I mean? Or I don't want to be the weakest link on the
Yeah,
joint. You know what I'm saying? For me, I feel like that's super real. But some people take it personal. They be like, oh, you don't want to be on the joint. It's not that I don't want to be on the joint. Is you made something that's super official, and I don't feel like conceptually I could meet what this is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'd rather turn
yeah,
it down than be the weak link. You know what I mean?
and that's a juggling act within itself because they make this assumption like you don't like what they've done, but it's not even that.
It's actually the
You're
opposite.
honoring them, right? You're
Yeah.
honoring their art, but they feel like you're trying to be nice, and it's like, nah, really. But
Like, yeah, you really did your thing on this. Like, I don't want to fuck it up. Or it might take me longer to really come up with something that I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean? So it might
Yeah,
take me a little time. And if you in a rush, like I gotta pass. Even with the bread, it's like, damn, I need that.
yeah,
But I don't want later to be like, all right, I could have did better.
yeah.
And there's certain features that I felt like, certain features I felt like I killed. Other features I felt like, I could have did better. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
So how
You
long
know?
did it take you to write a verse or a song or
It varies, man. It depends on the beat, depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll be in a funky mood. It's like, sometimes it take me a little longer. Sometimes it might come out in like 10 minutes. I find that when I'm there with a particular artist and we writing together, it comes together faster for me, especially if we vibing. When we emailing stuff, it depends. Cause I go sit down in front of my computer and I'll be like, damn, I gotta do this, this, and this. I'll be like, damn, all right, which one I'm gonna do first? And it just depends on my mood. You know, certain
and does
moods I might write that shit quick.
and does that, going back to the financial incentive of it, does that sometimes help with that as well, right? Or I'm just
Yeah, for sure.
asking um
It
because
does. It
man,
does.
me and you've been doing this for so long. There's probably like 30 situations that align to what this question is with the money and all that, right? Like, you know, it could be something, it's so many situations, but I was asking also on the basis of dealing with corporations. Sometimes you might have some Nike might need it. This company may need it in a certain time, deadlines.
I
How do
know.
you
And you
deal
be
with
like,
deadlines? So how do you deal with the
ooh.
deadlines and being on point?
I'm gonna keep it official, right? I feel
Mm,
like that part of it is kind of like, you know, took a little success away because certain things that I could have hopped in and just I was like hesitant on, like, I hate this beat. You know what I mean? I hate this beat. And then later it's like some big shit, and you like, damn, I should have did that. You know what I mean? It's hard. You gotta juggle it. It's like you gotta assess it. And I think that's a talent in itself. Some people know how to assess it. Oh, this for Nike. Mm, I hate this beat though. How am I gonna approach this? And they mind, they jump on it quick. Sometimes I'm able to do that. Sometimes I'm like, nah, I just don't like this beat. I'm not gonna be good on it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's hard, man. That's a hard part of the
You
game,
you got a lot of integrity though, man, in which I think that's why I love doing the show, like because people don't know you have these thoughts when you're saying I don't want to rhyme on that, or when you're taking your time. I think for the most part you're like showing that side of the integrity you have before rhyming on something. Like you ain't just gonna rhyme on it to rhyme on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I don't want to give you no garbage neither. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you pay me, I want to give you the best that I could provide. You know what I'm saying? And if I feel like I can't step up to that, I'll just be like, yo, here go your bread. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How
Word.
does how does having a job help make those decisions easier?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I feel like if you only eating off of rap, you gotta do everything that come across your table. You know what I mean? And some people are good at that, man. They kill everything, even if they make the beat sound dope.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a hard,
yeah.
that's a talent in itself, for sure.
Yeah, I remember I turned down something somebody sent me because they sent me it with an idea, and I was like, I hear something different. It's like, nah, but I want to rhyme about this. I was like, I'm gonna fall back because I don't hear that. If I don't hear it, I can't. I'm like, yeah, I don't hear that on there. So, what about punching in, or you straight through with the verse?
Most of the time I'm straight through with the verse. You know what I mean? Especially like if I'm going to your session, I'm going to where you recording. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get most of the verse through, at least like 8 to 12 bars before I punch it. I might come back and punch a few mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, straight through. But if I'm in a house, like in my own lab, like I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna do that shit over and over until I get it perfect, you know. And I'm good at editing, so yeah, I think that's the difference.
And
You
then
know?
do you prefer writing at home before going to studio or writing in the studio?
Um,
Like, if you got to go out writing in the studio with somebody session, do you prefer writing there at that session?
Sometimes I prefer writing there in that session, but the thing is like with my phone notes, I'm always jotting little lines, 2 lines here, 4 bars here, you know what I mean, and different notes. So when I go to a session and I sit down, I might have like 12 different notes with different phrases and lines, you know. So it just depends. If it's a concept, then of course I gotta start from scratch. But if it's like a braggadocious joint, I might have like, you know, a couple bars and different notes and I just put it together. So I think both. It just depends on the situation, you
And
know.
then what the atmosphere is like when creating? Is it morning, nighttime, quiet? You like people around, in the studio with you, or
Um Now in my older age it's the morning. It's like around now, like, 11, 12, some coffee. I usually do my stuff on Sunday, Monday. Of course I got my own lab, my own studio.
right?
But when I'm recording with other people, it would be nighttime, you know, smoking, drinking, nighttime vibe. But I think I get the best out of my voice in the morning.
All
Yeah.
right. And then as far as, do you prefer to write to the beat or use rhymes you have?
Um, as a preference, I like to write to the beat for sure. But like I said, depending on the occasion, I might have a couple pieces in my
Right.
phone, and I just play Tetris. Like, I could use this piece, and then come up with some stuff from there, and then take this piece from that, and you know what I mean. And I just play Tetris. Like, all right, I got it. You know,
Do you do you Okay, okay.
some of it might be written on the spot, but predominantly it'd be lines that I've collected in my phone. Yeah.
Do you have a whole bunch of rhymes you walk around with now? Like if a session or a cipher broke out, you'd be ready to like spit something?
Um. Yeah, but most likely it'll be on from a song. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I don't have a lot of free verses that's not on songs, or at least a song that I recorded recently. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that too. That's kind of my same sentiment. I was asking that because I would come up, you walk the street. Yo, you rap?
Yeah,
You remember? No,
yeah. You got joints on tap that you
yeah.
practicing all day. You like, now I'm gonna kill him with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, man, I be trying to explain it to people, and it's kind of, I guess, it feels crazy, but I really, maybe you could help back me up on this. Literally, you could walk, just be walking. Yo, you rap? Like, just because we dressed hip hop. So anybody randomly might just say, yo, you rap? You look like you rap. Yo, yeah, I rap a little something. Yo, spit
yo,
something.
that's
Spit,
definitely a New York '90s thing, bro. Like
right?
walking around, like it might be a cipher anywhere on 40
Anywhere.
Deuce, Washington Square Park, uh, anywhere.
Anywhere, brother. You could just get
Yeah.
approached like, yo, you rap, or you see somebody rapping and just like,
And jump
I
in, yeah.
and just it just pops off. You just randomly walking in, it's popping off. Two people rhyming, then all of a sudden you're over there, the crowd start happening. I don't know the last time I've seen a cipher.
Yeah. Now that we older, it's like we pick and choosing where we gonna be at. And most of the time, we on grown people time. Back in the days, we walking around with a backpack. We got weed in there. We got our notebooks. We just roaming the city like, oh, now I'm going to Washington Square Park. That's where a
Yep.
lot of the ciphers used to jump off. So you like, oh, I'm memorizing this. I'm gonna kill him with this one. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
different. Different.
yeah, the ciphers now are online, so you see a lot of people do their ciphers online now. You know, like yo, the one mic, and then everybody
Yeah.
step up. It's kind of changed to that realm of it, but
Yeah.
I always try to talk to people about, of course, me and you have history that some people don't have from then because a lot, you know, it's new generation. But like literally, you can just be walking and all of a sudden you rhyming or
Or
somebody,
you
yo,
on the
you
train.
on the
You on the
train.
train. You see
I,
somebody, y'all start battling. Yeah. Shit
Yeah, one of
crazy.
my first, like, not one of my first, but one time I remember I was on the train chilling and I met Super Nat. My first time meeting Super Nat was on the train. I'm riding, chilling. He was like, yo, you words? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, you Nat. I was like, yo, met each other. I'm getting off the train, and I'll never forget this. He said, yo, we got to rhyme, man. I want to test your dome, yo. I want to test your like, I was like, all right, man, we gotta get up one time. And that would probably might have been like maybe the first and last time I never like met Nat in person. I think maybe one of the two. I've always seen that on stage rhyming, you know, freestyling. But like to meet the first time was on train, and we talking about rhyming right then. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was such an
I had a
instant
similar
thing.
similar situation with Nat, you know what I'm saying? First time I met him was in Harlem, and yeah, we just started rapping. You know what I'm
That's it.
saying?
Yeah.
And he was the first person I seen with like a beat machine in his crib. And we went to his crib and
Wow.
he was just playing beats and we was just rapping and rapping and rapping and rapping and all day, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I used to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Running
It
to
used to
different
be
people, different boroughs and just start
on
rapping.
site.
Yeah.
How
Hmm.
they say on site, it was literally like you come
Yeah.
out the train, it could be rapping anywhere. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what about as far as your beat picking process? What's that like? Because you're a good beat picker, man. You know how people sometimes get labeled this and that, this and that. Like you
Hmm.
always are on something dope. What's that like for you getting the beats and picking them? How do you pick it? And you know, yo, this is fire.
It just gotta move me right away, you know? It gotta move me right away. Like from where I hear it, I already hear like a line. I'm like, oh shit. If it make me come up with a line right away, I know it's perfect for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But true say some songs, some beats they grow on you and you like, oh, all right, I could attack it this way. You know?
yeah.
Recently, I've been getting some dope beats and I get the first 8 bars right away. And then I'm like, damn, how am I gonna end this? You know? That be the hard part sometimes. You like, damn, I started it off real strong, strong 8 bars, but the end now I need to end this right, you know. But yeah, picking beats, I think is my forte, like good beats. You know what I mean? I be running into really dope producers.
How many beats do you like sent to you?
Um, I like 3 or 4 beats into me. You know what I mean? Let me make my assessment on those, and if I don't like those, then send me some more. Because when you send me like 30 and I like all of them, it's hard for me to make a choice. I'm like, damn, but I like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one. You know what I mean? It just be a little confusing. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 at a time. You know what I mean?
And
It's
then
good.
what is it like for you with your revision process, man? Like I was saying, like you have so much integrity with rhyming, like I gotta get an ending and like taking your time. There's this time thing that I see that you're really particular about how to spend your time on the
Y'all,
rhyme, you know?
y'all, I'm particular about mixes too. Like once we like, you know, we have a disagreement on the mixes, I'll be like, like, you know what I mean? Like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm at turtle speed, sometimes I'm at fast speed. It just depends, you know. Um, yeah.
Do you keep
The
you
mixes
keep
are
stuff? Do you keep a lot of stuff? Like, do you keep everything you write? Or are you like, you know, because there's some people that I've spoken to that was like, once they write that down, that's it right then and there. Or do you go back and you like, I'm gonna take this line out or
yeah. I change shit a lot. Yeah, I change shit. I ain't gonna lie. I revise stuff like, I might have wrote something and I and we haven't mixed it yet and I'm sitting on it and then I hear a new album and somebody say something similar, I'll be like, oh, I'm taking it out. People be like, nah, you said that a long time ago. Leave it. I be like, nah. You know what I mean? I don't want
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
to think I'm biting. So yeah, I revise stuff definitely. You know, I mean this new album, I think I revised like a couple lines on it. You know what I mean? I heard Nas say some shit that I said. I was like, oh, nah, I'm taking that out. I heard, a couple people say certain things. I was like, oh, I'm taking that out. I mean, you going in the right direction. You like, damn, he said that too. Like, but you don't want to say nothing similar. So you take it out. I always revise shit. Especially if I feel like I could do better. You know what I mean? You might think it's really dope at first, and then when you listen back, you be like, nah, I could do better than that. You know. Let me ask you a question. When you
yeah.
when you when you do a song with somebody and they come with
Mhm.
something really, really dope, do you write your shit over or
Nah,
you leave it how it is? Nah, you leave it.
I leave it. I leave it. I always leave it.
Yeah.
I always leave
Even
it.
if they
Yeah,
blew you out the water, we keep it
yeah,
100. Yeah,
yeah.
you leave it.
I did a project with me and Superstition that we got
Mm-hmm.
that's just chilling there. Never came out. I was talking to Superstition the other day, and there's a song with me and him rhyming, and then he come on last. So when you get that last spot and you get hype. It would
You gotta go hard though.
Yeah. So like when he came on the record, I was like, yo, the way he came in, kind of crazy. But my rhyme is there. My rhyme is my rhyme. And then I had to realize, even if man, I could give you a couple instances of this. Um, live from the Blue Note, Nico is song, Quali's artist.
Hmm.
Nico put together live from the Blue Note. It's featuring Midas, the Beast, AL, Punch, me, and Quali.
Yeah,
Midas to me is one of the best people to set off a record ever. Like,
yeah.
so when I heard Midas rhyme, I went in and then I heard a couple other people rhyme. I went in and Midas was like, yo, I want to change my thing and people want to change their stuff, but you hear people's stuff. But I told Midas, me hearing your rhyme made me write that.
Right, right.
You
I
see
think
what I'm
I'm
saying?
better at setting
You know?
off records too. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm better off at setting off records than ending them. It depends. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
On the new
I know what
album,
you mean though. Sometimes you build off the energy of the last person and you like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, don't change
yeah.
that. You
It all
crazy?
Right. And it all depends when you get the beat. There's a whole bunch of dynamics that go with that. So even on this album, me and Stu, the chemistry album, there's a song called Get Your Boy. And when I heard the beat, I said, I gotta send this to Midas. Like the way he's gonna come on this is gonna be incredible, crazy. Midas did his thing, he didn't hear my rhyme, and the rhymes are the rhymes, right? And then I got Naps and Dreads on there. So I just sent it to everybody. We wrote our rhymes, and then I said, "Yo, I can't wait to hear your verse. Can't wait to hear your verse." And then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I knew overall I have to get Midas to set this off. Like, so it's more of like a play calling thing for me more so than anything. But I don't change the rhyme though. I think just it is what it is. And then what I learned at the end of the day, um, people gonna like your rhyme if they're a fan of yours, no matter how ill you may think the other person rhyme is. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? If there are people a fan of yours, they're gonna be like, yo, I just love how he sound, how that rock. It don't matter if that person seem like their rhyme is crazier. People are fans of who they're fans of. So I just ride out. But yeah, I've never changed the verse. I've never changed the
Mhm.
verse.
Some
I've always
verses I
kept.
went back and changed. I wouldn't change the whole thing, but like
Yeah.
a couple lines, yeah. I went back and changed some verses. Sometimes I might change the order. You dig what I'm saying?
Of the lines for sure.
Yeah. No, no, the order of the lineup. Like he went first, he went second, he went third. I might put the third first, and you know what I mean? I might change the order of how the people appear on the song.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I mean? It just
I think
depends.
yeah, live from the Blue Note. I It's me. I think Quali is last on that, maybe. So, but the order wasn't the order. We got a video for that too, man. So that's a dope joint we did.
Yeah, I
But I
seen your
think
last two videos. Them shit's hard.
thanks,
Word up.
man. That's
Yeah.
this probably my favorite project I've done thus far.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. With writing it, I just write it, man, and then I'm kind of done with it. That's it. Like, this is what I got. This is what I gave you. Unless it's like a concept, and you might be like, "Yo, I'm talking about this. You came talking about that." Then I'll be like, "Oh, okay. I'll switch it up and rewrite it." But for the most part, um, it is what it is.
Yeah, I
Because I've
had that
learned that.
situation recently where I did a joint with with two other people, you know what I'm saying? And me and the other guy, we were kind of on the same topic. And then the last one he wasn't. And then but the hook could have tied it all in. But then the way that the guy that did the hook, it tied in with me in the first, it tied in with my verse and one of the dude's verse, but not the last one. So he was like, damn, let me be on another song because it kind of, I'm like the odd man out on this song. You know what I mean? And it made
Yeah,
sense. I was like, all right, we fit in the concept and the hook more than he is. So he was like, all right, let me put this verse on another beat. And yeah, that's what
I
we
can even
doing.
I can even give you something that, like, behind the scenes stuff of how I write stuff too. So for years people was like, "Yo, I want to hear you and Elzai rhyme." Right? Like, because how dope he is, how dope I am. It's like, "Yo, I gotta hear y'all rhyme together." So I was able to get
Yeah,
Elzai
that's
on the
another one of
last.
my favorite dudes right there, man. I ain't gonna
He's
lie.
incredible. He's
He appeared,
incredible.
but he's one of my favorites. Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
incredible. Right? So people like, "Yo, you and Elzai, this and that," right? So I hit Elzai. I said, "I got a Stu Bangers joint." So just for in the essence of time, I actually wrote, we did 4 bars back and forth. I actually wrote all my fours and sent it to him. And what I wrote is what I wrote. And whatever he
Mm.
wrote is what he wrote. I did that for this album with Ace. I sent him all my spots. Whatever you write is what you write. Now, whether you write something that better than mine or whatever, I don't know. I just wrote what I wrote and I sent it to you because the essence of getting that song done, it would take so much longer if I do 4. Wait for your 4.
Nitpicking it. Yeah, yeah.
4. Wait for your 4. 4. Everybody's kind of busy, especially at the age and stage we are, to do a 4-4 unless we in the studio together or we're like, you know what I'm saying? So and those
Yeah,
songs came out fire, and so I don't
yeah.
mind. I don't mind doing that. If those are two MCs right then and there, you almost don't want to send your stuff to ahead of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, those are two highly
Fuck it, you
skilled
gotta
people
let it
that
fly.
if they hear something from somebody else, they can easily level you up. Those guys. So
Yeah.
I sent them my stuff, and it is what it is. Songs came out fire. I don't. So I just whatever I write is what I write.
I think
You know.
all of the polyrhythmatic stuff that we did is
Mhm.
all on the spot. Everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah, everything.
When we did EMC stuff, everybody wrote before studio for the most part. Nobody never wrote in studio. Everything was written before. So,
Oh, okay.
but we
Yeah.
would write before, come to the studio, but you never heard nobody verse.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we all popping up same time, and then you say your verse right on spot. So yeah,
I
there's so
think we
many,
all wrote our verses in the studio. For real.
and then
Yep.
said it to each other.
Yep. And then go
Yeah,
in there and record them shits.
that's another aspect of the game that I kind of miss sometimes. Like me and Punch, we talk on the phone. Me and Ace talk like every day. All of us talk every day, and then we do music, but we don't call each other to hear a verse no more. When we were younger, me and Punch would, "Yo, this is what I got. Yo, this is what
Yo,
I
listen
got.
to this. Yeah.
Listen to this." I don't know the last time I did that. I think the last time I may have done that is about it, maybe kind of fairly recent. Me and Punch, we was writing something for Stu Banger stuff, and that was something like, "Yo, what do you think of this line?" And we done it like that. But that was like, it made me reminisce, nostalgic to be like, "Yo, dudes is asking each other about their bars."
Yeah.
So,
Spitting over the
um,
phone for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. What do you I got a few more questions. I know I appreciate you with the time. It's just us
Nah, it's all
kicking it.
good, man. It's a Sunday. We kicking it.
Yeah, we're kicking it, man. What was it like as far as understanding the importance of storytelling with like Arabian Nights and different things, like just being able to be like a storyteller with rhyming.
I think it's very important, man. You know what I mean? Um, some of my favorite MCs were the illest storytellers, man. Like G Rap, uh, Slick Rick. You know what I mean? Karis One, and I felt like you know how back in the days you had certain elements to albums that you felt like if you didn't have them on there, it wasn't complete. The
Yeah.
story is one of them. The joint about the relationship is another one.
Yep.
Something introspective and conscious is definitely those were three joints you had to have on that album other than
Yeah.
braggadocio, you know what I mean, to
Right.
show your versatility. And yeah, storytelling is a very important one because a lot of young artists ain't telling those stories, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some of them
They
are, but some of them not.
Yeah, I think it's just when I talk to the students, they just say, it's a vibe. They tell me they vibing. It ain't really like they're not
Yeah,
really they're not really it's really a lot of mimicking. I say, yo, I know y'all see this is what's going on, but there's so many other artists that are doing this and try to introduce them to other artists of what's going on because they really now a lot of them are if they doing storytelling, it's like making it up and really kind of copying what they see from dudes talking about drilling and the ops and killing, all that stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the storytelling aspect from the kids, that's just something I try to teach them. Like, yo, but tell me about your
But
life. Like, you know?
but they'll recognize it though when they hear something. They'll be like, "Whoa!" Like,
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I had a kid come in and say, yo, mister, you ever heard of Big L? I was like, yeah, I heard Big L. I'm over here
Boss, I
like,
heard a big L.
like, yeah, I just answered them like nonchalant. Yeah, yeah, I heard Big L. He's dope. He's dope. Like in my head, I'm like, my man, like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
you know,
of
um,
course.
of course. Yeah, but a lot of kids in my class too is dope because their parents are roughly my age, if not a little bit younger or older. And um it's cool. Some of them had the Lyricist Lounge album, so that's dope. And then some of them actually, the parents play their kids Nas. So a lot of kids come in class. I got kids in class that they write deep, like yeah, like Nas. So their parents are
Yeah,
playing them and putting them on to understand in some levels. And then you got some kids that just are into whatever's commercially, out here.
yeah. Now stories be on a whole nother level, and I think it's because of the descriptive
Yeah,
descriptiveness, like the way he describes shit be like so elaborate. It be like, yeah, it make
yeah.
his stories ill.
You know what's
Like
crazy?
Blaze of 50, like that's one of my favorite story joints.
Yeah, you
You
seen the
know,
AI video? They got an AI video of Blazer 50. And
a
it's
word. Nah, I ain't see that.
crazy.
It's
Yo,
crazy. I could imagine if they show
yo,
everything that he's talking about. That's crazy.
everything. It's probably the best AI channel on YouTube. And yo, when they do,
I
they
gotta
do,
see
they
that.
do, yeah, they do Ice Cube joints. They do a lot of old joints. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Here it is, Blazer 59's AI video. Um,
Man, I gotta see that. Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's insane. It's by, if I'm right, Righteous Entertainment.
Mm,
So when you get a chance, I
yeah,
actually
I'm gonna
and
look
they
it
did
up.
they did Undying Love too.
What? Ah, I
Yo,
gotta see that.
yo, and
I
I mean
gotta see that.
it's extremely like everything to T, and it looked like Nas. Everything. It don't. It's like they doing all the old joints. They even did Rewind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rewind was another one. It's like, God damn.
yeah. They did some joints, man. Videos that people could check out.
They
What do
need
you?
to
What
do
do you?
Book of Rhymes. They do Book of Rhymes. That should be ill too. Where he flipping the
Yeah,
page, he start a rhyme and then he like, nah, that's whack. Flip the page. They need to do
yep.
that shit too.
Yeah, these
Facts.
guys, man, Righteous Entertainment. Um, RIGHT Entertainment, Righteous Entertainment. Incredible videos to check out. You can watch them. They look super official. What's your purpose, man? What's your purpose, you think, of doing the music?
My purpose with doing the music is to express myself and to get my views out there. You know, it's also, it's therapy for me. I feel like, getting my feelings and my thoughts out there, it helps me cope with other things that I'm going through. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it helps me get that out, instead of keeping it bottled up. So I would say my purpose is to create a legacy through creative thoughts, you know what I mean? And paintings, A lot of times, I don't know if you see my lab, but my lab is set up in a way where, I'm painting and I'm recording. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
Like it's an all in one. So sometimes I might be working on a painting and writing a rhyme at the same time, you know?
And people can purchase the paintings from you?
Yeah, for sure. On my website, shabamsahdeeq.com, with the hyphen between Shabam and Sadiq. I got a couple paintings up there, but I gotta update my site this week. I update it every couple weeks, you know what I mean, put new paintings and stuff, but I need to put a few new joints, you know what I mean? I got this one, the Black Jesus with the scrolls,
That's
you know what I
fire.
mean? With the rhyme scrolls. Yeah, I just be in here creating, man. I just want to leave a legacy of creations, you know what I mean? Songs and paintings, you know?
And then one thing I noticed following you, you always have like you put up these like positive posts, man. Like motivational posts. At some point you have to get serious about life. Delete numbers, stay away from love that isn't real. Hustle harder, get your health right, your spirit right, your mental right. Stay focused. You gotta demand some respect, not just from people, but yourself. Claim it, speak it, and see it every day. What made you? I started catching them more recently. What made you want to start sharing these particular posts?
Yo, a lot of times it be for me.
Mm,
This is what I'm thinking. This is for me, like, you know what I mean? And I just share it with the world. Sometimes I'll be talking to myself,
mm.
and when I see people like it just reaffirm that I'm on the right path. Like, yeah, I could relate to this, you know? And I think with the music, it's kind of like the same thing. When you see people like it, it's like, oh, yeah, I feel the same way, So I try to interject a lot of that stuff in my rhymes too, you know?
And then when you do you ever have a creative block? Like, or how do you get out
Man,
of a creative block? Like, do you believe in writer's block? Like,
I don't believe in writer's block per se, but I just feel like if you're not in the right mood, yeah, it's gonna block it, you know? You just gotta be able to capture those rhymes and that creativeness when you in the right mood for it. Some songs I write angry, and those shits be hard too,
yeah.
So it
It's funny.
depends.
Funny you say that. I spoke to I don't want to get I don't know if was it Pooh? Little brother on here, and I think he may have said like writing angry. When you writing angry, sometimes the indentation in the paper shows that. I thought that was kind of ill. Like,
Yo,
so
it does.
it makes it makes the
You can
paper
see the
kind of
rhyme on the next page behind it, like, yo, oh shit.
right. And so talking to him, and he told me one time it was dope. He got presented one of his rhymes written as art. And that made me think, brother, this is where
Mm,
this is going. You being an artist yourself, that writing angry has its own art to it with the indentations of the pen. And then the attitude is different and changed just based off of indentation of emotion, how that's all connected. But how the writings of what we do, I'm writing in the computer more so nowadays. I don't even write on paper anymore, but I may be missing
mhm.
opportunities on an artistic level, imagine, you know, I'm coming to Georgia, it's the Shabaam Sahdeeq Gallery with that, but also your writings now.
Yeah.
That's where I think we're
They,
going.
yeah, for sure. They got a saying, you know what I'm saying? I think it's an African proverb that like, paintings are like frozen music. It's like,
Mm.
it's the same flow, it's the same in the same vein, except once you put it down, it stays like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's
So
deep.
yeah, man. What about so what are three like pieces of your work, whether it's like a verse or a song or album that you would suggest people to check out if they never heard of you, or even if they already know who you are, but you'd be like, this song never got that much love. Cause you know, sometimes we got joints on the album that aren't the single, and you like, I like this joint though here more than the single. What's those three joints that you would say, yo, go check these out if you want to get to know me?
Um, I would say the antidote, or for my Cabin Fever album,
Okay.
that's one of my favorite joints. The antidote. Um, Another song would be Black Book Sessions. Black Book Sessions is kind of like explaining my childhood and where I moved to and what I was thinking about when I was just getting into hip hop. And Black Books was important because, I got different Black Books through different years, and there's different phrases and different people who signed them that might be dead or gone. You know what I'm saying? So that's like another joint. City of Fame featuring Mike Hands is like one of my favorite joints. Because I kind of explain where I want to be. It's kind of like my manifesto, and it's explaining what I've done, like my accolades and stuff for like the second verse. Um, Walk with the Light on Keepers of the Lost Art. That's another joint, where I'm basically talking about my kids and when they was born, and just walking with them and building. Yeah. So it's a couple joints, man. Like a lot of album
Yeah.
joints, man. I feel like people skip over some of them because I don't know. They
They're
hear the
not the
singles.
single. They're not
Yeah,
singles. And
yeah.
that's kind of wild, man. It's almost like, you know, I guess
And I be
we
feeling like they better than the singles.
that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah,
like we also have to take some accountability of like reevaluating. Okay, well today is different. You know, before a lot of times people picked what you would put out for you if you're on the label. We know that. That was, and then as time go on, you able to choose your stuff, but also you felt like, well, the radio or this underground station or this station aren't going to play this record because is that maybe kind of what we were talking about, this emotional stuff. Remember, we were talking about
yeah.
relationships and it don't like play introspective records for some reason. But I feel like how you feel too. There's joints that are on the album. I think today, which is dope, that you can do that. Like I'm gonna just do the video for this joint. There's
Yeah.
more. There's
Especially
more.
on the independent level, you like, fuck it, I can do whatever the hell I want.
Right. There's more time too for a project. Like you could run a project way longer today. I think as far as video wise, even though people are dropping albums every month and every week, two albums. Some do an album a month, but like for the most part, there's never like a time, uh, you know, expiration
Especially
date
for
on.
creative videos, yeah. It's not a time,
Yeah,
there's no time limit. Yeah.
no
You could
time
keep
limit now.
promoting that album for the next 2 years if you got the creativeness to do those type of videos. Yep.
Right. I see that you also got a show coming up April 15th. Is that right? Right at the Drunken
Yeah,
Unicorn.
I'm rocking with Soul Messiah. Yeah. Yep. Rocking with
So I
Soul
see.
Messiah at the Drunken Unicorn for his birthday. We got a project we working on as well, you know. Yes,
And then
sir.
for you, I got your bam. I got your IG. If you want to tell them your IG, just for those that are just maybe listening while driving too.
Yeah, Shabam Sadiq, everything. I try to keep it uniform. Um, TikTok, Shabam Sadiq 13, Twitter, Shabam Sadiq, Instagram, Shabam Sadiq, the website, www.shabamsadiq, with the hyphen between shabamsadiq.com. Yeah, I try to keep everything uniform. You could basically find me on everything as Shabam Sadiq. Yeah.
Well, brother, man, I appreciate you spending this much time on here, man. I know it's a Sunday. I know, you got time, got family, got things to do, man. I really appreciate it. And I think people, even me, even though knowing you, this is the other thing. We know each other, but we just be sending verses. You know what I'm saying? We don't know
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
what it
fact. Or
takes
we
for you to
might run into each other at a show. Like, yo,
right.
what up? Have a
But I don't know
quick
what it takes for you
conversation.
to
Yeah.
write that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know these intricacies of what it took for you to write the rhyme. I don't know what you're thinking about in the process. So I appreciate how you shared that and what you shared because I didn't know none of this. I would just assume, yeah, you just writing a rhyme. Yo, send the 16.
Yeah.
We just, we're so used to that process that I gotta I don't want to say new appreciation, but I got an added appreciation for your writing. Yeah, man.
Uh,
Like hearing your process, man. Um,
I
so
appreciate it, man.
yeah, thank you, man.
Let me
So
ask you a
everybody,
question, right? With
of
certain
course.
with certain projects that you be having, do you ever sit a project down for a minute and then come back to it?
Um, only if the producer has a different plan than me. But for the most part, once I got stuff, I pretty much go what is dated and slated to be out first. Right? So I may finish this first because then that way it's done. And then I go to the next thing. So I just try to be very organized with what I choose. And then depending on what it is, so like if you send me something, I'll be like, I might ask you when you need it by. And then if you say I need it by tomorrow, then I'm gonna work on it, get it done by tomorrow. It's Friday, whatever the person
Yeah.
requests. But for the most part, I go by what's slated and dated, and then I
Mm.
go to the next thing. I don't really
I
jump.
be I be
Yeah.
going by feeling like sometimes I might be like in the middle of a project and then we run into a few snags and I'll be like, you know what? Let me back up off this one and listen for a while and just work on another one and then come back to this. I'm weird with it sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I got some projects with people that's like 85% done, and I'm like, I need to be in a certain space to finish this album because I don't know what the last three joints need to be to close this album out yet, if
Yeah.
that makes
I've
sense.
worked Yeah, it makes sense. I've worked on multiple projects at once too. And sometimes I do bounce around. Like if I hit till when I hit that beat, then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna knock that out. But for the most part, I will like let me knock this one out and then it's done. And then I'll jump to the next one, depending on but it's all about the plan. So I got like two albums sitting with two producers just chilling. And then
Me
I'm,
too. Me
you
too.
know, they
And they
chilling,
like, yo,
but
when we gonna finish this? When we gonna finish this? And I'll be like, man, it's coming. Just let me get that feeling again for what it takes to finish this particular project.
yeah,
You know what I
I got
mean?
two. I got two like completed sitting there, but the producers have a particular way they envision a rollout. So then I can't wait. I got to go to the next project. So I
Move to the
have
next project. Yeah.
I got to keep going. So that's the thing with me. Like I'll just keep going and whatever. I'll give you. Working with Stu has been one of the best things career wise for me because his mindset is knocking the joints out and then putting it out, as opposed to the overthinking aspect that may come along with being a rapper or MC or artist. The overthinking sometimes will have you in that stall or you're
I think
overthinking
I I
theme
think I
wise.
overthink certain shit too. I
And
overthink it and I just sit on it too long sometimes, But it depends though, because certain producers, they have the mixing and everything down, you know. They
yeah,
they they nice with it. Like SK is definitely one of those that like he mixes, he listens, he come back with ideas, and it's pretty much done. Some producers, they sending me stems. I gotta get other people to mix it. We don't agree on the mix. it just take a little more, and I'll be like, all right, well, hold up, let me sit this to the side. I'll come back. You know what I mean? Because it take a
Yeah.
little more to do this. Because I'm dealing with stems. I got to deal with mixes. Hold on, let me deal with this producer because he knows basically, and he mixes, and it's just easier to put together. You know?
Yeah, man, I've had the best of times doing an album. Then I've had times when I'm working with a producer and he disappeared for a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yo,
and,
that's
and
real too, son. Because life
this
be life, and you
disappeared
know,
for a
life
month
be
on me.
life.
And I'm like, yo, I can't finish this project or I'm waiting on the stems. But overall, now it's just kind of more so like whatever is ready to go. I have the conversation with the producer. What do you think? What do you envision? And how do you want to put this out? And then when they have there's certain ideas, sometimes the producer can overthink. And now they got the project stalling because I've run
Oh man,
across
I'd have had that too.
yeah, I've run across here's what I've run across. I've run across understanding the way today is that music is kind of disposable in some regards, that if you hold on to it to release with this big fanfare thing and then you drop it and it doesn't make a dent in the regards of how you envisioned it, but it does make an impact, but your way that you envisioned it with this whole rollout, it's not that today, really.
It's not.
It's
But
not.
true say that once you put it out there, though, it's there forever. So you know the rollout is not as important as the actual quality of the music. You know
Right.
what I
So
mean?
put the music out, it'll make its ways and it'll do what it'll do, get some visuals, and you try to put it out. I think that's kind of where it's been at. I did an EP with Naps and Dreads in November, and then I dropped the album with Stu in December. Me and Naps and Dreads did that joint, dropped it, did well. We did videos and just chilling. So just the overthinking process of just like, yo, this got to be aligned with that. I just try to make the joints and put them out, man, and make the videos and support it, and then keep it moving, work on the next stuff because
Yeah.
it's not
I think that's my goal this year. My goal is to all these projects, because I got a few projects that's like 80, 90% done. Some of them are
yeah
50% done, is to finish those and get those out. You know what I mean? I was watching a video where Jazzy Jeff was like, yo, die empty. You know what I'm saying? Put
yo
all those joints out. And it hit me hard, like, yeah,
there you
I
go.
got like a lot of joints I've been sitting on. Like, yo,
Yeah.
bro, don't sit on that shit. Put it out.
Yeah, I
You
spoke to
know? So
recognize was like he had learned from somebody that, yo, don't treat the music too precious. Don't
yeah,
get too precious with the music.
yeah.
Put
Or
it
you
out.
gonna lose, yeah. Facts.
Yeah, I think some of the things are kind of baked in the cake, as they would say, probably like the mixing and the mastering and all that aspect of it. But once you get through all that, are you still putting it out? Because people could go through that whole process, mix, mastered, everything, and then it still be sitting there. And I think it's
Mm,
because there's a certain level of expectation that people are thinking, and I think you got to be realistic with what you do, right? So if you know, me and Stu, we press up 100 CDs, and fortunately, they go. But we're staying within a certain realm, right? We're not pressing up 500 CDs. We're pressing up vinyl, but we do pre-orders instead of just pressing up. You know, before dudes, we press up
yeah, because you don't want to be
100.
sitting there with 500 vinyl and they not moving, you know what I'm saying? Or you move like 200 of them, but you still got 300 you sitting on in your garage. You like, nah, bro. You
Yeah,
know, you
so
gotta take it a little bit at a time. Yeah.
yeah, but there's still people, Shabam, that are still in that vibe of, yo, I'm just gonna go press this up and don't have the people to purchase that or don't have this. So just understanding that like upscale, do it low and then upscale. All right, you need to make more, you make money from that. I think that's has to be the process of today for a lot of us, as opposed to the old way was that, yo, they said they can get me 400 vinyls for this amount. I'm gonna buy it. And then you just sitting there with vinyl.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
like, yo,
set up
what am
the
I doing?
mindset. Yeah, the process has to be understood that you gotta attack it differently. You gotta know where you are. You gotta understand what you can sell. You gotta be patient with selling and then re-upping and everything. And Yeah, just got to change your mindset, be comfortable with it. But at the end of the day, like I don't really sit on nothing. Like I'm doing a project and then I just put it out and keep it moving. But also at the same time, like doing the music now is almost like a big commercial for everything else for me too. So like I do
It
music,
is.
right? But it's not
Yeah.
like but at the stage and age I'm doing music to also promote books that I have. So I got a kids book over there. I got books. I got curriculums that I license. I
Yeah.
got, I got all this other stuff going on. So the
Yeah.
music,
You a teacher. Yeah.
yeah,
It's dope.
yeah. So
For
now
me,
that's
it's, it's selling the art, it's selling the merch,
right.
it's selling tours. Yeah, it's the calling card because it's about to be free in a minute. Like it almost is free. If you're
And it,
not selling
yeah,
something tangible like tapes or CDs or vinyl, it's kind
vinyl.
of free. Like because they selling our joints for what 0.2 cents on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know.
Yeah. If you look
Yeah.
at it too, I mean, I take a survey in my class with the kids and I just ask, you multiply me doing this times, let's say hundreds of thousands of schools across the nation. I'm talking at like eighth graders, seventh graders, and sixth graders, all in one class. When's the last time y'all bought an album? No hand goes up. When the last time you listen to music? The hands will go up. How do you listen to music? I'm on YouTube. They're listening in some ways. They're listening that there's no way that it can kind of go back to us to get money. So the understanding or the valuing music is not there, and they're the generation that's going right. Fortunately, vinyl is making a comeback, but overall, you just put the music out and let it state your case, but also understand that it's a commercial for other things. Like me and you at
Mhm.
this stage of age are the perfect people to be on panels
To talk. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
talk.
It's just crazy that right now people don't own music. So if your subscription, if you don't pay for that shit, you don't have the music, bro.
You don't
You
have the
know what I'm
music.
saying?
You don't go
Unless
buy
you
that
own
vinyl.
some, people frown on CDs. They like, man, ain't nobody playing no CDs, ain't nobody playing no tapes. But truthfully, if you don't pay your subscription, you don't got shit to listen to. You don't own it unless you got a
Yeah.
record player or CD player or tape player. You know what I
Yeah, that's
mean?
one of the things I learned when I went to school for music business. It was like that's tethered. It's tethered to it. Like it's not if you don't pay, you don't play. So it's
That's
a
it.
tethering system like that you got to like yeah, that's it. You don't own it. But that's why the
You don't
vinyl
own
and
that
stuff
shit.
is becoming more important. A lot of kids in my class, not a lot, but a few kids in my class, let me say a nice amount. They do have record players. They are
Mm.
buying vinyl. They are buying vinyl.
Yeah, when I'm on
So
Europe on tour and I meet people when I go to their houses, a lot of Europeans got vinyl players in their house.
they
Even
got vinyl.
females. They like, yeah, they break some wine out, they put the shit and they play it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
only way
vinyl.
to own music, own your music, you know?
That's
Other
it.
than that,
That's
it's
yeah.
tethered.
So yeah, other than that, that's it, brother. So when I talk to the kids, so I'll be like, y'all don't even buy music like that, but they still want to make it. And so we go through that in class. I teach them about like all the music business stuff and Bandcamp and all this ways to make money from it. A lot of stuff that I ain't learned till mad older, you know what I'm saying? But that's how I feel about
Word,
the music
word.
today, man. Like, just make the joints and put them out, brother, and state your case. That's the only way you can state your case.
Right,
For
right, right.
if you think you're the illest, put it
State your
out. If
case,
you
put it out. Yeah, facts.
you know what I'm saying?
It's stuff I'm still learning, like registering stuff, publishing, yeah, mechanical royalties, stuff that I learned late. That's very important. Like I'm going. I got hundreds of songs, so I'm going back. Certain songs from back in the days I didn't copyright. Some songs I did. Yeah, it's crazy out here. Like it's a lot of back work that I've been on
Oh
lately
yeah,
too. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I remember that day when I first learned about publishing. I was like 18, 19. I went and grabbed every CD I rhymed on when we were younger, and I sat it next to
Yeah.
me, and I registered everything.
And just registered everything. Yeah. Yeah. Certain joints
Registered
from back in
everything.
the days I didn't, so I had to go back and do it, which was a really tedious work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays every project I have the split sheets here on my computer. Like I try
That's
to be
another
mad
thing.
organized.
Split sheets. A lot of the old shit, we ain't doing no split sheets. Songs
Nah,
that are
but you know what?
legendary now. Like,
You know
you
what
know?
though? Everything that I rhymed on back then, though, I registered it and did everybody even splits. I could have
Mm.
been on some stupid stuff like, yo, I'm a business. I did everybody. If it's 4 of us, I gave everybody 25. If it's well, 3
Nah,
of
yeah,
us,
it makes
33 in the
sense.
third. And they didn't even register nothing. But when I did it that young, I was fair with everybody. So once they got it and they did, if they didn't register it, anything I rhymed on, if I registered it, I did even splits for everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, I try to make sure I do that, man. Like, hey, man, it's so much I could tell you about this, talk about with this, man. But like, at the end of the day, like, just gotta put the music out and let it be the judge. If you feel, sometimes I'd be offended that I'm not on some list. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be on some of these lists people make up of rappers that did this, rapper that did that. But I can't be offended if I don't put the music out. You
Right,
can feel
right,
you
right,
can you can feel you can feel all you want to feel, but the evidence is what it is, and the only evidence we have is the music.
right,
I don't
right,
care how dope you feel you are. If you ain't got the joints out, it don't matter how dope you are.
right.
So
Yeah. So what do you feel about like the term adult contemporary hip hop?
I think it's fine for now. I don't have anything against it. I'm not against it. I think it's fine. Twan Mack is who I first heard using that. Rest in peace, Twan from he was in Milwaukee.
Rest in peace, Twan. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it was a thought that just been going around for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
yeah.
should we have our own category instead of mixing us in the putting us in the mix with all the younger cats?
All right. So I got two answers for that. It's okay to have our own station with it, right? Adult contemporary. But I remember being in Europe in a van, and I remember 50 Cent PIMP coming on. And after 50 Cent went off, they had like a regular, like I forgot, it was an underground hip hop record came on. And then another
Mm,
commercial. There was no indication of a separation. It just was on the
right.
station. This record is
Yeah,
pop. It
I
needs to just
feel
be ended.
yeah, yeah.
Just play the joints. Just play the joints and
Yeah.
let people go from there.
Cause back in the days, like that's what they was doing. You might hear NWA and De La Soul go back to back. You know what I'm
Even on
saying?
tour. They
Yeah,
was on tour together. You used to have those tours with that type mixed together.
yeah,
Um, I'm cool if we got a station dedicated to that. I'm cool with that. But at the end of the day, like if you just play stuff without categorizing it, it doesn't divide us. And I just think like sometimes we're too divisive in our community and our categories and our hip hop and everything is very, divided as opposed to just yo,
yeah.
that
They
joint's
putting us
fire.
in little boxes.
It's too
Yeah.
many boxes. We
Oh,
put
he's
ourselves in too many
lyrical. Oh, this is da da da. They putting us in little boxes, and yeah, yeah.
Just play the joints.
It is
Just play the
divided.
joints. Yeah, just play the joints, man. I think you need just somebody to play the joints. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Well, definitely. Thanks for having me. And
oh yeah,
yeah, I look
brother.
forward to seeing
Anytime,
you.
man. I'm glad we were able to get this done, man. Cause I have a list of guests, but then like I only do it on the weekends. But I'll be like, I got certain people that from our era that I think don't get the props like you deserve. Like I interviewed Apani, and that was one of my highest interviews because people was like, yo, Pon. So the
Yeah,
excitement and hype and
my
respect for what
sis right there. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, for what y'all do
Apani
and what
B.
y'all done, I don't think gets highlighted. So I'm glad and I appreciate you finding time to be on here because I want to show my appreciation towards the brick that you put in the foundation that people may not, understand. They walking across the bricks, they looking at the building, but they ain't looking at the name of that brick in the building. So I appreciate you, man.
Likewise, man. I appreciate you. Word
Yo,
up.
so everybody out there, make sure y'all, like, subscribe, Shabaam Sahdeeq.com, art,
That's it.
everything, music, following him on Instagram. And like I always say, y'all, everything will be down in the comments too. All the links. I have all the links to everything that you get his art, talk to him about, whatever. And like I always say, y'all, what are your words worth? Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man.